Have you ever wondered what it would be like to live 300 years ago? To be in a time where there were no phones, no cars, no TV, when people had to sew their own clothes? Well, thankfully, we will never have to experience this because of the Industrial Revolution. The Industrial Revolution was a pivotal era that reshaped humanity's destiny and continues to echo through time. Today, I want to share how this phenomenon has influenced our lives for better or for worse. The Industrial Revolution began in England in the 18th century. Life in Europe during this era was based around agriculture. Most people were farmers who earned very little money and received no education. The only wealthy people during this era were landowners and aristocrats. 3 reasons why the Industrial Revolution began in Great Britain is because they had a productive agricultural system, large deposits of coal and iron ore, and a great number of creative investors. Investors were given favorable conditions by the government to invest in these new inventions, so Britain's trade empire could be used to exploit such innovations by providing markets for manufactured goods. Workers poured into these new industrial centers, and in a few years, villages exploded into major cities. Here, the masses were forced to live under appalling conditions in crowded slums. Working hours were around 14 hours a day, and the workers were slaves to the rhythm of the machines. Women were expected to work just as hard for less pay, especially in the collieries and textile factories. Children too were exploited. Around the turn of the 20th century, a wave of strikes befell the major industrial countries. The first large-scale industrial workers' movements were successful in demanding higher wages, and demands for a 12-hour working day were soon followed by demands for a 10-hour working day. Oddly enough, industrialization began in the United States before mainland Europe, when an immigrant traveled from Britain to Rhode Island and set up the first textile factory on US soil. Soon enough, mills and factories started to spring up in the Northeast US. Britain tried to keep their success a secret, but people in other countries had already found out, so they started smuggling machines out in rowboats. The first countries after Britain to develop factories and railroads in Europe were Belgium, Switzerland, France, and the states that became Germany. Building a national railroad system proved an essential part of industrialization. Many technological innovations were made in the US during this period. The steamboat, the telegraph, and the sewing machine made it easier to transport people, raw materials, and products all over the world, and this helped establish America as the leading economic power in the 20th century. Despite all the economic and social benefits that industrialization brought, there were certainly downsides. Human activities during the Industrial Revolution caused the Earth's average temperature to rise about 1.8 degrees from 1880 to 2020. For me, the most fascinating thing is that the Industrial Revolution has never really ended. We are merely in a new cycle in which digital technology reigns supreme. In this modern age where we have everything at our fingertips, we must address the environmental damage that has come with industrialization in order to ensure a future that maintains the benefits of economic progress while safeguarding the well-being of all humanity.